My name is John Abadili. I have the great privilege of being the president and CEO at Oolite Arts. I started here about a year and a half ago in January, but we are a 40-year-old organization that has always been here on Lincoln Road. We were started by a woman named Ellie Schneiderman, who at about 38 years old discovered ceramics, taking a ceramics class with her daughter. It was like a mother-daughter art class. And the stories I heard from her friends were that she immediately was like, whatever daughter, but I love ceramics. And she's a really remarkable woman who secured, with lots of support from others, but she really led an effort to secure several buildings on Lincoln Road when the rents were not what they are today, and rented them out to artists cheaply. And I think at our height, we had about 45, maybe 50 studios. They would activate ground floor spaces with gallery shows, and they would draw members of the public in to meet the artists and buy artwork, and it really became a phenomenon for many, many years. We have, since then, about 15 years ago, we sold our building, so we're down to one, which is the building we're in now. We have 13 artist studios. The entry is right next door at 924, and you can, if you want to wander through after for a few minutes, feel free if you're new to us. 13 artist studios. We have a fabrication space, so we have a print shop. We're building out a brand new textile shop because we did some research and found that was not very accessible. Those instruments were not very accessible to artists in the area. We have a new laser engraver, 3D printing, an additional digital lab, and other fabrication resources in there, which all of you have access to, members of the public have access to really anytime. You can book time with our technicians on the website. You can drop in if you want to learn more. Our regular business hours are around 9 to 5, 10 to 5. We also do classes. So for many, many years, we've done mostly adult classes taught by professional artists such as yourselves in any really visual arts medium you can name. We've explored and experimented with it. Model drawing is very popular since it's not offered in many places. People will come from Palm Beach for some of these classes that happen once or twice a week. Those are paid classes. We have free partnerships we give to schools. So we put working artists in schools. We work with a lot of the schools in Little River because we are building a new building in Little River. That's our new home. So we work with a lot of those schools. And we have a program I'm really excited about, a brand new teen resident program. So we accept by application, kind of like what we'll be talking here tonight about, applications from teenagers who aspire to be professional artists. And then we work with them and pair them with a working artist for a year so that they can learn about how to be a working artist. Like what happens when you leave college or what happens when you leave high school? What's a grant? What's a fellowship? How do you work with galleries? As well as develop their practice. If you're curious, they are actually installing a culminating installation show in 924. There's a vitrine right when you walk in, a glass vitrine on your left. And they installed a bunch of their original installations in there. You could take a look if you want. Also, July 8th at 6 p.m., this whole building is going to be turned on and activated. All of our resident artists will have open studios, and they have a show up in our gallery, which is the second floor, 924. So if you want to come see us in action, that's really the night to come. Sometimes things get slow in the summer, but our open studio / exhibition openings are always kind of a good party. You know, free alcohol, free food too.
And great art.
That would be good. What's that?
And great art.
And great art. Oh, and the art.
And the art.
Let's see. So a few years ago, we sold a building, and we now have the incredible blessing of having about $100 million endowment. And the way that endowment works is we only take a small portion of what it spins off from its investments every year to run the organization. The idea is that money will sit there forever and be empowering South Florida artists forever. That we don't spend down the endowment, you live off of the investment income from it. So we make an investment income from it, and that was really a transformative moment about 15 years ago for the organization, as you can imagine. We did reduce the number of studios we have, but we created all these programs that are fully free to visual artists in the South Florida region. That includes the Ellies program you'll hear about tonight. The Ellies are a set of awards we give, named after Ellie Schneiderman, our founder, that are unrestricted cash awards for artists, all from the South Florida region. We give free studio space, you'll hear about tonight, for 1 year in this building in the 13 studios, every year to artists. We have career development services for those artists. We also have career development classes. We call it the skills program for anyone in the community who wants to come learn from us. What else? Am I missing anything, Charisse? Have I covered most of what we do?
Yeah.
Okay, I think I've covered most of what we do. So if you're not signed up for our newsletter, you're here for some reason, but if you're not signed up for our newsletter, all this stuff goes out on our newsletter, the openings, the free classes, this application period, et cetera. So tonight the team's gonna talk about the application period that closes at the end of July and all the different programs we have for working professional artists that you can apply for. Let me ask a quick question. How many of you are from Miami-Dade County? Raise your hands. Okay, thank you. And how many of you are from outside Miami-Dade County? Okay, Broward. Oh God, where? Monroe? Palm. Where else? I mean living right now is what I mean. Okay. So we expanded our services about last year to all 4 counties. For many, many years, most of our programs were limited to Miami-Dade. And when I came on and we were having some conversations, the team, we all kind of thought, why not 4 counties? Particularly in light of the affordability crisis, the housing crunch. Many of our alumni who've been through our programs and our residencies have moved to Broward or moved to Broward many years ago. And we just thought this just makes sense. We operate like a community. We operate like an economic region. I know I go to cultural institutions outside of this county all the time, and I don't think twice about driving to the Bunker or driving to NSU or driving to the Norton to see what's going on there because we're all kind of part of this community. So I'm really excited to see folks from outside Miami-Dade here too. We're working on building our reputation and our just building that awareness that like this organization exists for you too now. After about 40 years of telling people you're not eligible, we now need to run up there and say, no, now you are eligible. So we have a lot of work to do in that regard. And if you guys have any tips or help or want to tell your friends about us so that they know that we're here for them too now, that would be really helpful and really great. I'll just end by saying, one logistical announcement. You're going to hear from Charisse about a few of our programs first, the ones she's responsible for. Then you'll hear from Hansel about Cinematic, and you'll hear from Celeste about the Ellies. Presentation's not long. They're not very long. They're very informative. The way they've structured it is feel free to ask at the end of the presentation. They'll invite any questions you have about that set of programs. But they will also be doing a clinic-style one-on-one at the tables around the room. So if you have something that's like, I am in this specific situation and you don't want to broadcast it to everybody in the room or it's not appropriate to everybody in the room, you can feel free to stick around after and they'll be at these tables. Celeste with the Ellies over here, Hansel with Cinema back there, and Charisse over there. So you have both formats to ask questions in. I think that's it. And then, help yourself to at any time to food. Feel free to get up and get whatever you need. It's informal, it's no big deal. There is a bathroom through this door, but my recommendation is you use the bathroom in 924, just down the hall under the stairs. So if at any time get up, feel free to come in and out as you need. The last thing I'll say is just this job is really like a dream come true. The opportunity to just help artists make art is just so remarkable to me. I'll be honest, when I left college, I didn't think I had the mettle to be an artist, and it's such a tough road to hoe. And so I went into this more predictable management role. But being able to be working with you guys and your peers and colleagues from around the region, to have the privilege of having this endowment, which really powers this organization and empowers us to make decisions that are best for artists, because the money doesn't come with the kinds of strings that certain grant money or donor money comes with. And the opportunity to work with a team that all feels the same about artists and supporting artists is such an honor and a privilege. I moved here for this job and just it's just the best. It's really amazing. So I just want to say thank you for what you do. Thank you for being here tonight. We are streaming, and so there is a digital, a broadcast component. I'm glad to have that access point open. And I'll finally get off the stage. Thank you guys. Thanks. Charisse?
Hello. And since I cannot project as well as John, I'm going to use the microphone. My name is Charisse Crockett. I'm the Director of Artist Residencies at Oolite Arts. Welcome to you all. I'm going to provide information about the studio and home and away residency programs. So let's get started. So the studio residency is one of our core programs and has been around forever. The focus is to provide time, space, resources, and community to artists. We feel these are very important to advance your career. and so that you can reach the next level. The selected artists will receive a free studio with 24-hour access. The term for next year runs from February 15th, 2027 through January 14th, 2028. You will receive financial support in the amount of $15,000 provided by the Knight Foundation and Oolite Arts. The financial support will be paid out in monthly installments of $1,250. The selected artists will also have access to our facilities, as John briefly mentioned, which include the print shop, digital lab. We have a brand new fabrication space in the back, which I'm really excited about, as well as a flex space / library. And finally, you'll have the opportunity to participate in exhibitions, our quarterly open studios, where we invite the community in to meet our residents and see our new exhibitions, as well as professional development through our skills series. The Home and Away residency is a multi-week series of paid opportunities with our partner institutions around the world. The focus of this program is to expand your networks and build community with the artists participating in the program, those from Miami and beyond. Again, this is an important aspect of developing your career and building momentum. So our partner residencies in 2027 include the Bag Factory in Johannesburg, South Africa, which will run for 3 months, Art Pace in San Antonio, Texas, which will run for 5 weeks, and Mass Mocha in North Adams, Massachusetts, which will run for 4 weeks. So if you're selected for one of the Home and Away residencies, you will be provided with a $500 weekly stipend for the domestic opportunity and a $6,000 stipend for the international residency. Also, Oolite will cover your travel and room and board while you're there. So eligibility. You must be a resident of South Florida, which means you reside in Miami-Dade, Palm Beach, Broward, or Monroe counties. You must be at least 21 years of age and not enrolled in a degree-granting academic program in 27. And you cannot have won an Ellie Oolite Arts Award or participated in an Oolite Arts residency in the past 2 years, so 25 and 26. This is new this year, so I want to take a pause. We've gotten a lot of feedback about this recent change, so I'd like to open the floor briefly to any questions you guys may have about the specific change to our eligibility requirements. Otherwise, I'll also give you an opportunity to ask questions at the end, but please go ahead.
Is there how do you choose where the artist will go for the Home and Away?
That's a good question. She asked, how do you choose where the artist will go? You apply. So in the application, you select which residency is of interest to you. Okay. So eligibility for the international residency. Just want to specify that we will require that you be a U.S. resident. So we're going to ask you to submit a scan of your passport or green card, if necessary. So we comprise our jurors of arts professionals based outside of South Florida. And we ask them to evaluate the applications based on the following criteria: artistic excellence and rigor, the commitment to practice, and the benefit to resident. And the benefit to resident is really important because I encourage you all to be very, very specific in the application, highlighting your goals and what you expect to receive or benefit from the actual opportunity. It allows the jurors to better assess the application and also assess whether this opportunity is appropriate at this time in your career, and also location versus studio. So it just gives a lot of clarity to the jurors as they move through many, many applications. So be specific. And that's it. So I'd like to open the floor for any additional questions you may have. And also just a reminder, we will have breakout sessions at the end Additionally, if you know anyone who was not able to make it tonight, I have office hours, all three of us, for each program. So please visit the website to sign up. We can do a Zoom, we can schedule a call, but the information is on the website. And my office hours are June 30th, July 7th, and July 14th. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I would like to know, like, how did you choose those specific partners? Like, I am applying for the one in, like, I don't know, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Is there like, how can I know like their core or their identity, or like if my practice relates better to each of the places?
From the juror's perspective, it comes from what you provide in the application. For you, it's on you to research our partner residencies to see if the facilities they offer, the program that they offer would be in support of your practice and if it's in alignment. So I encourage all of you to visit our partner residencies websites to learn more about the cities where they're located, as well as their overall programming, and see a list of their alumni, other artists around the world who have gone through these very prestigious programs. Mm-hmm.
Do you have the dates for the residencies for next year?
They are listed on our website. I don't know them off the top of my head. The one in South Africa will likely run February 1st through April 30th, as it did this year. And then the Art Pace residency in Mass Mocha are subsequent to that. So they'll start in May and run through June. Those are much shorter, 4- and 5-week residencies.
How many residents do you choose for each location?
2 for South Africa, 6 for Mass Mocha, and 3 for Art Pace. And that's based on the available studios at the partner locations, because they run a year-long program themselves, and so they're welcoming in the Miami artists as a part of their program. Yes.
Have any of your prior awardees or artists done more of kind of like a community, incorporated like a community engagement aspect into their residency?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So if that is an interest or focus of yours, please be sure that it's reflected in your application so the jury has a clear understanding of your ability to engage with the local community and communities beyond. I think that's really important. Great question. Mm-hmm.
Are the jurors always the same? You rotate them?
No, we rotate the jurors, or not rotate, we have a list of potential jurors that we compile and update every year, and then we extend invitation to those arts professionals, and most of the time they accept. So they bring very interesting perspective. They're all from great institutions. Last year, the jurors for Studio and Home and Away, they were from the Joan Mitchell Foundation and the Whitney, as well as the Arizona State University Gallery. Any other questions? Again, if I will be over there at the end of the evening, we can gather around and discuss the program in more detail, and I can address your specific questions. But if you have no further questions, oh, I see, we're here. Go ahead, please.
Are the home and away residences separate programs, or if you're part of the home, you're eligible for the away?
Say that again?
So are the home and away residences 2 separate programs, or are people that are in the home residence only eligible?
You're talking about the studio versus Home and Away?
Yeah.
Yes, they are 2 distinct programs. So 11 artists are selected for Home and Away, and 13 artists are selected for the studio residency program. Uh-huh.
Could you refer to make like a project for each particular residency?
I think if it's aligned with your practice and where you are right now, it makes perfect sense. Also keep in mind the feasibility. If you're at a 4- or 5-week residency, strategically describe your project or your goals to fit within that timeline, or be very specific about how it's going to continue when you get back to Miami. Mm-hmm.
Based on past projects, your interactions with the jurors,
Mhm.
what advice would you give in terms of how to make a compelling or memorable proposal? Like what if you could get it inside their heads, what did they say, this is what we love?
Well, at the conclusion of the jury review session last year, I did ask the jurors that. So what I'm sharing with you in terms of being specific in the application is what they told me. For example, there was an applicant that had very strong work, practice very strong, but they were very vague as to how the opportunity would benefit them and why they wanted to go. So that just doesn't provide enough information for them to assess when looking at other applications, whether yours is compelling enough, if you haven't provided enough information for them to do that. Mm-hmm.
For the studio and for the Ellie's Award, Creative Award,
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering if you, in the application process, if they preferred more of a breadth of work or a more cohesive body based, does it matter?
That is solely up to you. If you feel it would be more beneficial for them to see the last 10 years of your work, which is pretty standard, or focus on a specific body of work, you make that call. Whatever you can speak to most compellingly, I think would put you in good stead. Mm-hmm.
In terms of the eligibility and kind of best practices, I imagine that you're allowed to apply for each one,
Correct.
but you would only be able to get
Correct.
one.
There is an eligibility firewall at the beginning of the applications for each. And once you get beyond that, we ask you to rank, if you are selected, to rank which opportunity you would prefer to have right now at this point in your career.
So that goes for the Ellie's too. You can
All of them.
And do you think it's a good practice if you're having different jurors for each one? Do you think it's a good to apply for like
All of them?
a bunch of them?
I think I think it's up to you. I think you give yourself a greater chance the more you apply, but it also has to be right for you. It's not just an arbitrary application. Our jurors are very diligent. They stick to the criteria, and it's really important that this is the right time for you because we want you to benefit from the opportunity. So it all has to be the stars have to align. Yes,
How many hours are required for the studio?
15 hours per week. Mm-hmm. You're welcome. Any other questions? Yes, Carol.
Yeah, just about what you just said about the hours.
Uh-huh.
If an artist is traveling and doing residencies,
Mhm.
so an artist is able to have a studio here, but also travel and come back constantly, or
Of course, of course. I ask that you notify myself so that I know that you'll be away. Obviously not for an extended period of time because it's a lengthy residency, but the year goes by very quickly. So no more than a month away from your studio. Yes, Carol.
yes, I noticed on the website for the different opportunities that you are introducing this year. It is retroactive to 2025. I wonder why people had something in 2025 and not this year.
That's
It
correct.
seems like it's fair that we should wait a year or two before they can reapply.
Yeah.
Or why do it retroactive?
We thought about this long and hard internally, and we've expanded our opportunities beyond Miami-Dade County. And so we want to give other artists the opportunity to receive support from Oolite, especially those who are unfamiliar with us and want to, take a leap of faith and apply. It was very considered. And again, as John says, it's not a door closing. You just have to wait for 2 years and then you can apply again.
No, that's fair, but why not start it this year? Because it's a good policy in a way.
We are looking forward.
No, we're looking backwards.
No, we are looking forward and we don't want it to be retroactive. Again, this was deeply considered. We had many, many discussions, and this is a new eligibility that we are instituting for 2027. Opportunities.
Just a thoughts on that. Like,
Yeah.
I grew up down here.
Uh-huh.
I'm from Broward County, but I'm from Miami. I love the Preds. I thought this was a scam I looked it up, like, there was for an art teacher, and I was like, no, this can't be, like, there's no way. And I kept looking, I was like, no, they just have a really good website. I was like, no, I genuinely did not believe this existed, and I've been a rock girl away from here. So to have it open to other Broward artists, like, and to allow other people to get in there with the village, it's a vast opportunity, so I do appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And again, in 2 years, you will be eligible to apply, and we may have even more opportunities. Anything further? All right, well, let's keep going. I'd like to welcome Hansel, my colleague. All right.
Thank you so much. So before going to my presentation, I want to go back to one question here that you can apply to. Actually, you can go to the QR code now to see the cinematic residency presentation. If you can apply to several applications at the same time, yes. Actually, there is one question in the application where you will have, if you apply to multiple programs at the same time, you will have to rate it, yeah, which one you prefer in order to only be, to win one only. So the cinematic residency, first of all, Hansel Porras Garcia, that's my name. I manage the cinematic residency program. I was a resident before becoming the manager, so I made my film through this program, and I'm really excited to be now in the other position. So a little bit of history, the cinematic residency started in 2019, and is a space for first-time filmmakers to work on their first feature, narrative feature films. We have many benefits, $50,000 that go toward the production of the film. We also have access, or the resident will have access to rental, camera, package equipment support, mentorship throughout the residency from industry professionals, film industry professionals from around the world, access to a dedicated studio working space here at Oolite, and also all other facilities at Oolite. I'm going back to the last one, opportunities to connect with other filmmakers, national and internationally, and a housing stipend, which is a very exciting new addition that we are making to this year benefits. So the cinematic resident will receive $12,000 annually to pay rent, basically, and have more time to actually work on their films. So that's very exciting this year. In order to be eligible to apply to a cinematic residency, there are, of course, requirements across all our programs that you have to meet. You must be a resident of South Florida. That means Miami-Dade, Broward, Palm Beach, or Monroe counties. You must be a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident. You must be 21 years old or older, and not be enrolled in an academic program as of 2027. You must be a first-time filmmaker. This must be your first feature film, and it must be a narrative feature film. So we want filmmakers that, of course, have worked previously, have experience working in short films, and actually, we encourage you to include your shorts or your previous work in your application to be evaluated by the jurors, but we want this to be your first feature film. And this feature film should be filmed in South Florida, at least 80% of it. And you must also include at least 30 pages of your script as part of your application. So we are requesting 30 pages for a first draft so that the jurors can actually understand your project better. You cannot have win an Ellie or other residency program before in the past 2 years. And of course, Oolite board members, employees, and our families are not eligible to apply. So the jury will be 3 film professionals from national recognition level. They will not be local. And they will be announced actually when the new resident is announced. The jurors will be announced as well, so you know who were the ones who selected the resident. And they will be basically evaluating the applications based on artistic vision, project feasibility. A reminder that this is a micro-budget residency. We really want projects that are micro-budget, and we want to keep it that way because it's part of the nature of our residency program. Also, script and development, that's why you will need to submit at least 30 pages of your script. The director's potential, which will be based on additional materials that you submit, such as pitch decks, if you have crew or cast attached to your projects, if you have other production companies, whatever you want to include in your application to support that application, it's welcome and will be evaluated. And here's an overview of key dates for the remainder of the summer. As you know, the application opened June 1st and it will be open through July 31st. Then from August 3rd to September 11th, the Euros will be reviewing your applications. And we will meet from September 14th through September 18th, just one day of that week, for deliberations and decide who will be the new cinematic resident. On September 21st, we will announce personally to the winner, and then on October 5th, we will be making the public announcement of the new resident, and the jurors will select. And that's it. If you have any general questions that you want to ask now, this is
So regarding the school stuff, like I have school like for the winter of this year. Would that disqualify me? Because you said no school after 2027, right? So that means that if I have to still take classes in the winter, I should be okay.
I feel that's a question that we can discuss later because I'm not really sure right now.
So will you be graduated by December 2026?
No. I won't be graduated.
So will you still be in school in 2026?
Yeah.
I mean, I can disenroll and not take classes.
That's not the point.
So would it be better to unenroll and then, because I'd rather.
It's about being in the degree granting program specifically.
Again, if you want to come back with that specific question, we can discuss it later, if that's okay.
Well, does having a full-time job also affect that, or that's?
No, at all. As long as you can actually complete your project. And that's why we're also happy have this housing stipend that will support that.
Okay, I'll talk to you.
With, let's say like the viewers like the script, do you give ways for someone to adjust the script to make it more micro budget, or does it have to, when it's presented, does it have to be perfectly, like the perfect script for a micro budget film?
Not necessarily. I mean, yes to the question of the micro budget because of course you want to include in your application all the information including the script that the users will read as this is micro budget, so we will support this filmmaker. But what was the question?
Like do you allow, if you see a script that has potential, it's like this is a little bit too much, do you like give grace for someone to scale it down more? Or
So the users, the applications is not solely the script. You will have like time to explain the whole your whole project, and the users will again. It's not only about the script, and you will have from October through January to actually complete the script that you actually want to work on. Therefore,
also they'll ask for another draft?
I mean, we will ask for another draft. The users will review, and then once your application starts on October 5th, then you will have from October 5th till January to actually complete your script and actually do a presentation, a public presentation of your project to other organizations here in Miami. And like you will have like 3 months to actually complete your final draft before going to production. Yeah. Yes.
Just to give like a nugget to bounce off of what you just asked, I feel like adding that your project is scalable in the production timeline would be beneficial to that. I think it'll help the jurors know that your project is scalable to the 50K if need be. Yeah.
Actually, again, there are many questions. You will have to submit a budget to. You will have to submit a micro budget statement where you will explain why do you consider this project a micro budget film. So you will have like opportunities in your application to actually explain this to the jurors, not only the script. I'll go back to you. Yes.
Micro budget, is that I just heard 50K
There's no consensus about this. Not even in the industry, and it depends on the levels that you are like working. But we do consider micro budget 50K for our standards, and especially because in the previous years the residents were not allowed to raise additional funds. You were supposed to only work with those 50 days. This year we're lifting that. We are actually encouraging people to raise additional funds as long as they meet the residency agreements, basically. However, I must add here, we would like the project not to be over $100,000. That would be the total. $50,000. Yeah.
Like when we're explaining like the micro budget and staying within budget, are we allowed to mention like crew and stuff that we would basically hire for less or for anything, or would the Oolite Arts kind of hire crew for us, or?
The crew is completely up to you. You work with the people that you want. Like you will have complete control, complete control over your project. And if you want to include that to support your application, that will be reviewed in the overall section. Yes.
I'm going to ask a similar question to what you asked earlier, but in your opinion, being a part of previous cinematic arts residents, what in your opinion makes a compelling application, or from what you've seen?
I'm going to say the most important question for me in the application is the micro budget statement. Like you really need to, the viewers really need to read that this is a micro budget and that you are able to complete your film with the resources that Oolite give you. So, just go for it.
That was my question.
Okay. Yeah.
Is there a particular background that you're looking for, like being entrenched in the community and doing local stuff, or is it like just your experience as a whole, or just kind of just the background?
Not really. We do want the film to be filmed at least 80% here in Miami and to have ties to the city, but it's completely up to you. It's your project and it's you have to do it. Yeah.
If the film is going to be made here in Miami, doesn't that make it harder for people who live in other counties?
I'm sorry, yes, you're completely right. When I say Miami, I'm still 2 years ago. I mean South Florida, and that means Miami-Dade, Broward County, Palm Beach, and Monroe. Yes. Yeah. Thank you for the question. Yes, please.
So you said that we can raise extra funding. So should the budget reflect that, or should the budget reflect Oolite budget 50 and say that we aim to raise more? Like how is that reflected in the budget?
In the application, there is a question when you also need to include either a secure budget already, or you can explain basically if you have like funds or additional money, or if you are planning to seek after you win the residency.
So if you're planning to raise, like let's say you're planning to raise, you want your budget to be 75.
Mm-hmm.
Do you submit a $50,000 budget and put notes, or do you submit a 75?
I would say just submit the full budget for your project. The whole budget, yes.
Okay.
Yes. And even include their in-kind services too, because we're not used to include in-kind services in our budgets, but I highly recommend you to do so. Yes.
So to piggyback off the question, you're saying that Oolite's only looking for micro budget features, so 50,000 below?
100,000 below, including in-kind services. Does that make sense? 5,000,000 as a total budget of your project, including in-kind services.
50,000, not 500,000.
No. What I mean is, okay, so Oolite, yes, no. Oolite will give you, yes. Exactly. So Oolite will give you $50,000. You can raise up to $500,000, including in-kind services. So, yeah, that's like the top that we're looking at as a micro budget film. Yes.
It's only gonna be one person.
Yes. Only one filmmaker this year. Yes?
Hi. A friend of mine did get residency a few years ago, first of all,
Yes.
like he's like I admire him as a filmmaker, and I'm just curious to you mentioned that part of the application was part of the budget. Is there anything else that you're looking for in criteria as like a filmmaker? Because you're handing over like 50K mentorship and resources. Like what else do you look for to be confident that they support you supported by a filmmaker?
That's why I believe that micro budget statement is very important, because in that question you will answer you will have to give the users the right answer. like I'm able to do this, and you will have space to demonstrate that through your work sample, the works that you have do before. You will have to include some references to in your application, also the script. Again, the application has a lot of spaces where you can actually demonstrate that you're able and that you're the right filmmaker for this year residency. Yeah, you're welcome.
How long do you have to make the film?
1 year for production, at least.
I was going to ask, gosh, my question is escaping me now. Oh, that the main creative force has to be the person applying, like the director. Are we able to use co-writers or build a crew that way, or the whole creative process writer direct?
You can even work with another director, but only one applicant should be sending the application. But you can work with a collective other people, yes. Any more questions? Yes.
If you're intending on approaching certain name actors, do you put that in your application, or is that
Please do. Yeah, of course.
If it's not
No, I mean,
solidified,
whatever. Well, make sure that you say it's not confirmed. I don't know, but whatever you feel you can include in your application and you have secured, include it there. Yes. If you have any specific questions, then we can meet back there in the cinematic table. So I'll leave you now with Celeste and the Ellies. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Celeste Viana and I'm the programs coordinator here at Oolite Arts. This is our QR code for the Ellie's presentation, if anyone would like to scan it for a minute before I take that down. I'm just gonna give everyone a minute there. This will also be recorded and posted afterwards, so you can also scan it from there. But I'll go forward from there. So the Ellie's Oolite Arts Awards are an awards program, our core awards program, our only awards program, designed to celebrate and recognize artists' careers and the visual arts community as a whole here in South Florida. They are offered in 5 categories to support emerging, working, established, and professionally accomplished artists, filmmakers, art educators, and now curators and art writers as well, based here in the 4 counties of South Florida. So the award categories, there are 5 of them. 3 of them are application-based, and 2 of them are by nomination only. So the first category is the Creator Award, which is an award of unrestricted funds of $10,000 to a visual artist. There will be 35 Creator Awards given out this year. And yes, these are unrestricted funds, which was a change that we started last year. So it no longer has any reporting requirements attached to that. The Art Teacher Travel Award is an award of $5,000 given to art teachers based living and teaching here in South Florida. It is for them to travel abroad to learn different artistic skills about different cultures and the arts, and to bring that knowledge back to their classrooms, and also to produce a public program related to what they learned. And finally, the new application-based category here is the Curatorial Practice and Critical Writing Award. So this is I didn't mention the Art Teacher Travel Award will be 6 teachers this year. Last year it was 5. The Curatorial and Critical Writing Award will be for 2 curators and or art writers. and it will be another unrestricted award given to support their careers. The final two categories are nomination-based only, so you cannot apply for these awards. We have a panel of nominators that are our professionals here in South Florida who will be nominating the people for these categories. A Better World Award is an award of $25,000 to an artist whose practice is dedicated to either social justice, mental health, the environment, different causes that help make the world a better place. And the Lifetime Achievement Award is an award of $75,000 given to an established artist who has a long history of working here in South Florida and a lot of impact in the community. So eligibility, again, we have general requirements that have applied across all of our programs this year. So you must be a resident of South Florida, which is Miami-Dade, Broward, Palm Beach, and Monroe counties. You must be 21 or older, and you cannot be enrolled in a degree-granting academic program for 2027. And you cannot have won an LE Oolite Arts Award or participated in an Oolite Arts residency in the past 2 years, 2025 and 2026. And again, this eligibility will be going forward, so people who won in 2025 or participated in the program in 2025 can apply for 2028 opportunities, and 2026 residents and awardees can apply for 2029 opportunities, and each application opens the year before it is awarded. So specifically for the Creator Award, the creators have to be practicing in at least one of the following fields. So this list is also available on our website, but it includes painting, sculpture, film, performance, and live art. And as long as we understand many arts are interdisciplinary, so many of you might be practicing in multiple of these fields, but we do require that you be practicing in at least one of these fields. So for example, someone who's exclusively a singer would not be eligible, but if you are interdisciplinary, that is perfectly fine for eligibility purposes. For the Art Teacher Travel Award, you must be employed full-time at a K-12 public charter or magnet school in South Florida. So that means the teacher cannot be a university professor. The teacher must be employed full-time, and the school must be non-private. And it has to be here in South Florida. The teacher to be eligible, does not need to live and teach in the same county as long as they are both in South Florida. So if you live in Broward but teach in Miami-Dade, you are still eligible. And additionally, the teachers must be a visual arts teacher specifically, so not performing arts, but any kind of visual arts, ceramics, photography, painting, etc. For the new award category, we have the Curatorial Practice and Critical Writing Award. This award is specifically for independent curators who focus on contemporary art here in South Florida. And this is so for independents, so not for people who hold full-time salaried positions at different organizations, companies, or institutions. We made this decision in order to help support our independent artists, art writers, and curators who often lack in support compared to many of their peers, again, in order to help uplift their careers there. Finally, we're going to talk a bit about juror evaluation criteria. So each award category for the application-based awards has different criteria. For the Creator Award, jurors are going to be looking for originality, technical skill, creative vision, professional readiness, and connection to artistic practice. So if you've seen the Creator Award application, it is very minimal in the text that it requires you to submit, mainly the artist statement and the artist bio. So we would encourage you to be as specific as possible about your vision behind your art in order to help the jurors get a good idea of not only the skill in your work samples, but also the vision behind your work and the conceptual depth that you have. For the Art Teacher Travel Award, jurors are going to be looking for depth, clarity, specificity, classroom impact, and overall strength of the travel plan. So it is really important for this application that any teachers applying really hone in on specifically where they want to go, why they want to go there, and what they plan to do while they're there. So rather than just saying, I want to go to Japan, a stronger application might say, I want to go to Tokyo to see these exact museums for X amount of days. And for the Curatorial Practice and Critical Writing Award, jurors will be looking for conceptual rigor, clarity of argument, intellectual framework, originality, and awareness of contemporary discourse. So that's going to have a heavy focus on the work samples themselves and the quality of the writing featured there. So for more information, this is the last of our presentations up here. You can go to our website, you can reach out to our emails, or you can call our phones. We have our different extensions here, which will take you directly to me, Charisse, or Hansel with any further questions. And we do have office hours available. One of my days is fully booked already, but July 20th, I still have Ellie's availability. And a lot of this information is on our website or on the applications themselves for additional clarity. So I wanted to open up to general questions about the Ellie's. Again, we're going to be having our breakout sessions for more specific cases. Yes.
Yeah, I noticed that within the application, you can sort of rank your desired programs that you prefer. But I was wondering if, say I don't receive my desired program, can I be considered for, like, if we're just speaking bluntly, say I don't get the cinematic residency, but there is still the reward for the creator award is still applicable to my project. Can this be treated as like some sort of consolation, not to undermine it, but is it being judged by the same set of jurors?
So no, these are different sets of jurors. The Ellie's jurors are completely different from the cinematic and the residency jurors. So these will all be decided by the jurors around the same time. And the only reason we will have to use these rankings is if someone wins, the jurors pick someone as their top applicant for 2 different categories. Then we will go to the rankings and see, okay, they placed the cinematic residency higher, they placed the creator award higher. We're going to give them that. And then they're going to get that opportunity. If you were not a top applicant for your top choice, but you were top applicant for your second choice, you're just going to get that choice. And that's kind of how we are using the rankings there.
For the art writing, does that include cinema?
Yes, I think so, yes. Because, yeah, we are considering, as long as it's like contemporary cinema here in South Florida, then yes, that is eligible.
Does it have to be like public, like, I have a friend who does this, is what I'm asking. She writes on Substack. Is that good enough, or does it have to be published on something more larger scale?
No, again, the focus is going to be on like the quality of the writing itself. And if it is like a published work, then, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's Substack or if it's, New York Times, like it's quality. Again, but yes, they cannot be employed, full-time as an art writer anywhere. That we are looking for mainly like independent art writers for that award.
Are all of the awards announced in September?
The awards are not announced. They're not going to be announced until the winter, most likely. So either like December, January. So this is going to be later than the cinematic awards. Again, the student residencies are also going to be announced later. Again, a different timeline going on there. But yeah, so again, because these all need to be decided together in order to do the rankings properly. But yes, these will not be coming out until later in the year, and the awardees will be told before it is announced to the public.
We get a rejection, or just if we don't get it, like a rejection email, or is it like you just find out you didn't get it when everyone else gets it?
No, we will be sending out rejection emails, and we also do plan to try and send out ineligibility emails if someone submitted something that is just ineligible before the deadline. So we have been, I don't know if anyone has submitted anything yet, we have been going through applications that come in very early in order to see if they have eligibility issues. So for example, you submit your bill and it has your name and your address, but you didn't have the date on there. We have been opening for editing. We've been marking it saying, hey, your application had an issue. We are opening it to resolve that issue. Please resubmit it before the deadline that we placed, or else you will still have that issue. You'll still be ineligible. But since we have a 2-month period for open eligibility, we are giving people that opportunity, especially that we have more strict eligibility regulations this year with having to submit primary proof of residency, secondary proof of residency. So again, it would be great to really hone in on that. A lot of the instructions are a bit dense about the secondary proof of residency, but it is very precise. So we are, opening that up there. Any other questions? If not, oh, yeah?
For the art teachers awards, are you consider, for example, if I am a painter, I am a teacher, I'm an artist, working artist, and working artist.
So are you an art?
Suppose I get the award for art teacher. The next year I cannot apply as an artist.
Correct. So all the LEs are considered an LE that would make you ineligible to win for the next 2 years.
Or if you won 1 year, you cannot apply for another one.
Correct. You would have to wait the 2 years between any of the LEs or any of the opportunities there to apply again.
When you consider on the application for the art teachers, it has to be related to my media, or it has to be something that I am not an expert in that media and I can learn and some part maybe.
Yeah, I think we can maybe discuss this we're going to be going to the breakout soon, but we can discuss this afterwards, I think, might make a little more sense so I can get a better idea where you're coming from there.
To the LEs in the past, and I remember it being associated with like a project that you proposed, like the dominoes on the columns under the metro rail or whatever. Is it still that way?
So no, it is no longer project-based. The funds are unrestricted, which I didn't specify. Unrestricted does mean it's not project-based. The only one you could say is project-based is Art Teacher Travel Award because it is tied to a specific travel to a place where you have to propose where you're traveling. The Curator Award and the Curatorial and Writing Award, as well as the nomination-based awards, are all unrestricted funds, which are not project-based.
I have a question specific to the art teacher travel grant. I've applied the last couple years and I have noticed the application has changed in the last 5 years numerous times. So I was wondering if you could speak on what you guys are specifically looking for in terms of, is the travel more so impacting our art teaching, like a unit of study that we are envisioning to bring back to our classroom? Or are you looking now more so for how is it impacting our creative practice? Because previously we didn't upload artwork, now we're uploading artwork, which I think is a great thing because we're showing that we are practicing artists as well as teachers. But if you could just speak to us about, well, what is the jury looking for? Is it more so the work we're going to do back in our classroom, or more so how it's impacting our personal practice?
Yes, so we have, changed the application. So this year specifically, we are requesting either work samples that you have done yourself, or it can be work done by students for our teachers that might not have as active of a practice. So jurors will be looking generally for benefit to the classroom and to the practice. Dually, they'll be taking both into account. And so we're trying to, dually kind of appreciate everyone, these art teachers' careers as artists themselves, but also remain open to art teachers who may not be having their own practice actively. So jurors will be taking sort of both into account depending on the applicant themselves, and seeing benefit both to the classroom and to the individual are going to be important in that application.
But you will see that the point of the trip is to impact the classroom.
Yes, the point of the trip,
So that is
yes.
sort of the top impact.
So then I guess that's where my question lies, because yes, I have an active art practice, and yes, I'm a teacher full time where I do a lot of great work with my students. So what would be more beneficial for my application in terms of, let's say, the 10 work samples? Would it be more beneficial for this specific grant to show work that my students have done, exhibitions I've done with my students in our school, or would it be more beneficial to show my work? Like, that's where I'm a little bit confused on how to present, a strong application in this juncture of what you're looking for in the travel grant.
I'll just say that the point of the $5,000 Art Teacher Travel Award is to impact your classroom practice.
Yeah.
So write your application with that in mind. The demonstration of who you are is like an additional round out of the application. But I think if you keep that purpose in mind, structure your application to speak to that purpose. Does that help?
Yeah, a big part of the application will be asking what your impact will be in the classroom, and also part of the award now is creating a public program. So some kind of program either with your students in the public and bringing back, like building back to the community using the skills you gained.
But what we are going to learn in those things doesn't have to be exactly together with our practice, to be the same as our practice is enough. It has to be more an impact in class.
Right.
It should be focused on, yeah.
You're looking more for the impact in the classroom for the impact in the graphics, or you're looking for both?
No, it's the point of that award is to impact classroom practice.
Right.
So but this is helpful because if we've structured this application in a way that's not confusing, we should take a look at it. We won't change it this year, but we'll look at it going forward. But that is the purpose. So when you write an application, what the jury will know is the point of this award is to impact classroom practice. So if you write an application, for example, and you only talk about yourself and not your classroom, that's a weaker application. And if you write an application that says, I want to go do this because I'm going to bring it back to my classroom and do this, this, and this, like, because that's the purpose. Is that clearer?
Okay, yeah.
Sorry.
Oh.
I would say if you have 10 samples, you can be like diverse on what you're showing. But with this in mind, because it's really the main thing for the specific program, like the impact that this struggle will have.
And just relating to the jury criteria, the work samples are not going to be a heavy focus in the art teacher travel award criteria. Those are mainly to show, connection to the classroom, your experience as an artist, but mainly the focus is going to be that travel plan and the impact that that'll create on the classroom. And, again, if you are very focused on a specific kind of art and you feel like you can really benefit from a program and that'll help you in the classroom, that might be a good sort of connection to make. But again, it's about mainly classroom impact. Yes, that's the focus of it, yes.
So the public program for that grant, or for that award, should be more about displaying your students' work and showing impact, not, say, doing a professional development workshop for other teachers.
It can be, I don't know if John wants to speak on that.
So I was just saying, this is newer for us. We're trying to create an environment in which this also helps create a dialogue in the community and other people benefit. We don't have clarity, right? We're not, and let me try to say, we are not being prescriptive about what you envision about a public program. We're open to what you envision about a public program.
Because as like a teacher doing professional development for other teachers, that can potentially impact a lot of other classrooms and a lot of other students as well.
Yeah, that would be a great public program. It doesn't have to be specifically with your students. It just has to sort of bring what you learned out into the community. Sorry, say it again? The artist trajectory. Yes, so that will be taken into account. Sort of the CV is one of the documents that the jurors will be reviewing. So they will see, I'm so sorry, would you be able to, thank you so much. So the artist trajectory will be taken into account there. They will be looking at your CV. Again, this award, Creator Award, is for emerging, mid-career, more established artists. So the jurors are taking into account that people are at different stages in their career, but they're taking sort of the skill into account, experience so far, and also the vision, again, behind the work. The artist bio and the artist statement are going to be taken into account. And if sort of you see a certain trajectory for yourself, definitely be sure to include that in your artist statement. Any other questions? Mm-hmm.
You said trajectory?
Yes.
You want to explain a little bit more about what? My question was before this one. What was the reason for removing the project and not have project days anymore? And the other one I understood the other change, which is the 4 boroughs. But what was that? It became very simple, much more simple for us. But I just want to deepen a little bit more what you're looking for our.
Yeah, so the real goal of that was for expansion of the counties, is to expand and give opportunities to more artists here in South Florida. And making it not project-based will really help artists choose how they see fit to support their careers, because sometimes a project isn't the most beneficial to their career. Sometimes these funds can be used for renting studio space, they can be used for housing rent, they can be used in all different kinds of ways that aren't just tied to one project, but they can be dispersed amongst multiple projects. And we found, based on feedback from the arts community, that this was the way we wanted to move forward there.
It's also just the rarest form of artist support you can find. I mean, artists are not up there. It's easier for artists to find more work with a grant And this doesn't ask you to do any more work. This is meant to support your existing work, your vision for your work. It can support childcare, healthcare, debt repayment, the sorts of things the sorts of monetary support that artists find that is the most rare for artists. And so we have the opportunity to change that, and we're like, if we can transform what it is to live in Miami as an artist, then we should do that, especially because it's a wildly expensive city. And that is also why we look at CV and images and other elements of your history as an artist, because that's what we're looking at, right? It's like we look at your history and then we support you with money that we just hand you a check, essentially. We sign a contract, we send you the money, and we're not really going to ask. We might check in with you occasionally, but there's no reporting, there's no mid-year progress reports, there's no send us proof you did this, there's no send us receipts, there's none of that stuff that come with grants related to you having a job to do or a project to execute. So, I mean, it's really meant to just give you the kind of power and freedom that money can give you, unfortunately, that is not available in many other places.
But from your side, when you're judging it, so you have less information besides the images, and do you want us to tell what we will do with the money, or?
So again, we are not the jurors, but the perspective of the jurors will be not analyzing. There's no place in the application for the Creator Award to state what you will do with the money. That was in last year's Creator Award. This year, it really will be up to the judges to kind of make that assessment of where your trajectory is going, who will really benefit from this. You again can include things in the artist statement that might be talking about where you're going in your career, but there's not really an expectation at all that you will say, I, with these $10,000, will do X, since it is not project-based.
So it's a lot of weight on the images as well.
On the images, on the CV, on your artist bio and artist statement, I'd say a lot, because that's where they're really getting beyond the skills, the conceptual idea behind your work and kind of where you're going behind it. I know Cherise spoke to how there was a certain application where they had a lot of skill in the studio residency, but they didn't really seem to have as much like conceptual explanations behind where they wanted to go. Again, that'll apply to like an artist statement or an artist bio, what's in that text there.